An event is something that the browser does or something that the user does. For example, clicking on a button, or entering some data in a field, or maybe putting a mouse over some element, or maybe the page has finished loading. So all those are examples of events. So normally when an event happens, then maybe you want to execute some code, or you want to do something when a user does some event. And how do we do that? How do we handle that? For example, we are on a website like this. Alright, so we are on a website like this one. Let me refresh this. And we come, let me log out from here. So when a user enters the data here, maybe their email and password, and then they click on a button, that that click is an event. Someone is putting on their mic. Hello, Samuel.
Yes.
You can mute your mic, or let me even mute it for you. Yep. All right. So I was demonstrating that when a user clicks on an event, by clicking alone, that is an event. And once that click happens, you want to do some task in the background, and that is what we are calling it event handler. So you are listening for an event from a user, and once the event is triggered, you want to handle some task. And how do we do that in JavaScript? So HTML normally allows you to, it has something called event attributes, and you can combine event attributes with JavaScript code so that you are able to handle events once the event has happened on any of the HTML element. And the syntax for doing that is that we will have an element, and we have an event attribute, and that event attribute is equal to some JavaScript code. All right. So let us take an example by just creating a simple HTML page. So I'm going to open this other HTML file. So I want to open a file that we had created. Previously we had JavaScript, not JavaScript, but HTML file. Let me see if it is still on the desktop. HTML file. Yes, so it's here. Let me open this file. So here we have this HTML file. I want to delete our previous code that we had created, and place this new code to demonstrate the concept of events. So you can see in this HTML page or HTML file, we have written a normal HTML. So we have a body. Inside the body we have the header 1, and we also have the header 2, and then here we have a button, and in this button we have attached on click event. So this on click is what we call it the event attribute. Then when this event happens, what must be done? What needs to be done? So we are attaching this JavaScript code. So there is this JavaScript code that will be executed once this button is clicked. And this JavaScript event is saying that get the document and get the element with ID called demo, and then change the inner text to the current date. All right. So you can see that below here we have this paragraph element with the ID called demo. So what we are doing is that once a user clicks on this button, we want to look for the element with this ID, and the element with this ID is this paragraph. Once we get the element with that ID, we put the current date within that element. So when you save these changes and then you open that file, so I want to double click on that file to open it in a browser, and it is this one right here. So you can see that we have this button here. So when you click on it, an event happens, an event is triggered, and that event, there is some code that we have written to handle that event. So when you click on it, you're able to see today's date here, which is Thursday, August 2020, 2025, displayed here. So that's how we can handle events. We've just used one example of an event, on-click event, but there are other multiple types of events, and I want to refer you to this uh, page here where you can see the list of all the events. So we have some of the events that can happen. We have the on click, which we have demonstrated, and then we have on change, on mouse over, we have on mouse out, on key down, on page load. These are all the examples of events. So when you click on this link, you can see the list of all the HTML events which you can work with, and you can have your own time and go through them and see if you can understand even more than what we have demonstrated. So what I want to just demonstrate here is the concept of an event and event handling, so that when an event happens, like on click, we need to handle that event by using some JavaScript code to do something. So that's all about the concept of events and event handling. Unless you have a question to ask, you can ask where you are not, where you have not understood. Any question? Any query?
Sorry, my internet dropped.
Sorry. We have been talking about the concept of events. Where, at what point did your internet drop?
At the start of simple HTML.
At the start of?
HTML code.
Yeah. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we are saying that in this, we are just creating a simple page, HTML page with these two headers. And then here, we have added a button. And in this button element, we have added on click event. So we are saying that when a user clicks on this button, what should happen? So this code should be executed. This is a JavaScript code. And what this code does is that it gets an element with ID demo, and then it changes the inner content of that element to the current date. So when we do date is a JavaScript function that will give you the current date and time. That's why the other time I referred you to look at the dates, so that you can understand how to work with date. So when we say date into bracket, we are calling a JavaScript function that will be able to return the current date and time. So the element with the ID demo is this paragraph down here. So once we save the changes here and you come to your page, this is our page. Let me refresh it. So you will see that here we have the page with these two headers and a button. When you click on this button, something happens, and what happens is that the current date is displayed here. So clicking is an event. Now when an event happens, what should be triggered? So when an event happens, we need to do something, and what we have done here is displaying the current date and time. Is it clear now?
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Any other question? If not, then I want to post this clip on JavaScript event.